Hi, and welcome to SimpleSpiritualityPH. So, for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Regine. Uh, I'm an intuitive tarot reader, I'm a Reiki healer, and an overall lightworker. Now, before we dive into today's episode, which is a quick review or a quick talk about the Wild Offering Oracle, first of all, I would like to apologize for all the miscellaneous noises in the village that I live in. There are a lot of dogs, cats, bats. Yes, bats. There are bats outside my window. They love to perch there. They feel like it's their home. Chickens, all that stuff. So I apologize for all the random noises. If you would like to receive notifications of my video, just hit the subscribe button below. If there's a bell, as you can see, it's a very lively neighborhood. If you have any comments, suggestions for me, if you would like me to discuss anything spiritual, just leave them in the comment section. If you like this video later on, hit the thumbs up. And if you would like your very own tarot reading or Reiki healing session with me, just email me here. I can do it both face-to-face if you live in Manila, if you live in Quezon City, or I can do it online as well, via email actually. Distance healing and intuitive tarot reading online. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to today's episode, which is a review of the Wild Offering. Now, this is what it looks like at the front, and this is what it looks like at the back. Now, I have to say I've had this for a while. Not a year, but more than 6 months, definitely, and I love it so much. And the reason why I decided to do a delayed review is because it's really after a couple of months that you kind of understand what the personality of a deck is and when you need to use it, at least for me. Now, it is a 52 card deck, and as you can see, it does mention God a lot. Now, a lot of my clients actually are not part of organized religions, So I always tell them that whenever you do get the word God, or whenever you do see like Lord or anything like that, don't be thrown off. This is basically just the God of your knowing, the source, the energy of your knowing, and just replace it with that, because it's all the same loving source. It's all from love, So without further ado, let's begin. So let's open it. The box is kind of hard, as you can see. And this is what it looks like inside. There's a little butterfly inside, and it's kind of light tealy and pastel-y, as you can see. And then if you go inside, there's a thing here. So Tosha Silver does have she has an app. So you can get it at the App Store. You can get the card readings on the App Store if you want to go mobile, if you don't want to bring this, because this is a hard case. It's not as heavy as other decks. It's actually fairly light, actually, compared to a couple of decks. Like, for example, the Rebel deck, the Sacred Rebel deck, which I will do a review on, because it's a very interesting deck also. But this one is fairly light, even if the cardstock is dense, the cardstock is, the cardstock is also light, but it's very unassuming that it's a light deck. I actually bring this around sometimes because, for a day-to-day thing, because it's a very uplifting kind of deck. So this is what the back looks like. Oh, before anything else, there is also an extra card, which is a message, very pretty. And then here we have Tosha Silver and Katie Daisy, illustrator and overall creator, So Tosha Silver, and she created the deck, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, yes, Katie Daisy is the illustrator. And props to her, because this is a beautiful deck. And when I say beautiful, beautiful. Okay? Now, this is what the back looks like. I love this so much because I'm very close to Ganesh. Ganesh comes to me at the most random times. Of course, they're not random, but to me they are. But of course, to Ganesh, it's not random. Ganesh basically is, to me, he symbolizes the removal of obstacles. And you'll find him actually a lot in taxis in India, because he does exactly that. He removes obstacles on the road, on your life's journey. So Ganesh is very special to me, and I love that. So because this deck does have an upright illustration, you can't really be surprised when it's like this. You can't be surprised. You can't expect a surprise reversal. But as I've said, I don't do reversal. I don't read reversals on oracle decks. I program my oracle decks to just be upright all the time. And tarot cards are fine. They can be in reversal. I can read them in reversals. I accept reversals in tarot cards. So when I shuffle, it's usually just like this for oracle decks, just one direction. Or if I want to shuffle them like the traditional way, I just do that. But just in one direction. So without further ado, here is a flip through. A very quick flip through. So actually what I like about this deck is that it does have the main point, so to speak. It does have the main message at the top, followed by a description. And I guess that's the reason why it doesn't have a booklet. You don't need a booklet because the description is particularly here. And I love that the illustrations are very floral. They're very much inspired by nature. I love nature. I love plants. My mother she loves plants. She loves every kind of plant. We have a mini garden, and she and my late dog Sid used to go gardening every day. Beautiful artwork. I love that there's a bee. Actually, if you do need, let's say for example, if you're in a position where you need to do quick readings, I would actually advise this deck because it really makes reading much faster because of the main message here at the top. Now, if you're intuitive, like if you go reading in an intuitive way, the way I do, I don't necessarily have to follow. I mean, you don't necessarily have to follow the message at the top, but it certainly does make a difference. I actually use I've programmed my cards to, let's say for example, if you have text, let it be a match. Don't let it be a fuzzy match. For those who work with SQLs and ODPS and stuff like that, don't let it be a fuzzy match. Let it be as exact as a match as possible to the energy that's being read. You're getting a little bit of ASMR with the sound of the cards, which I like. Honestly, how beautiful is this deck? And how gentle is this deck? Oh. Can you hear the bats? Okay. Nearly there. And the last one. Okay, so as you can see, it's a very calm deck. There are decks which have a lot of energy off the bat just by their illustrations alone. You'll notice that when we move on to the Sacred Rebels deck, there's a lot of energy there. When we move on to the Universe Has Your Back deck, I mean, it's a lot of energy, not a forceful energy, but there's a lot of conviction there. This is kind of like, this is akin to like your mother talking to you. You know, it's very gentle, it's very sweet. It is very truthful, and it says things, the messages actually, I like that it's very concise with its messages. You know, it's very concise with its messages. And it's exactly that. It's similar to the way your mom would tell you. Let's say, for example, you have a problem and you kind of ask, Mom, what do I do? So your mom, your aunt, or maybe your dad even, or your sister, anybody who loves you deeply would tell you that, hey, this is what happened to you and this is the situation. This is probably what you did wrong. This is probably what they did wrong. This is probably what went wrong. But you can do it in this way. You can fix it in this way. This problem can be solved in this way, you know? So it's very much like that. It's a very soft deck in terms of language, but it's also a very effective deck because not a lot of people actually like tough love. You know, I am not a fan of tough love, and I don't advocate tough love as well because the message gets lost. You know, whenever you're trying to convey something, whenever you're trying to let a person understand something, you have to make it you have to transform your message into something that they will actually understand. So use their language. This deck is actually a very great deck for that, because if you're not sure for your, let's say for example, for who you're reading for, if they can do tough love, if they can do, like, you know, in your face messages, very stark, very strong word usage, this is the kind of deck that will allow them to understand in a very gentle, simple, and caring way. Okay, and plus the illustrations are beautiful. I mean, I personally love nature. I love flowers. I love Mother Nature. I love plants. And whenever, let's say for example, you're doing a reading for a very distraught person, the moment you see these kinds of illustrations, it immediately brings you to a place of gentleness and calm and peace, you know? And that's the kind of energy that's ideal when you're doing a reading, because then you can see and read the energies more clearly. So airplane. Whenever I go out for readings, whenever I do live readings, a lot of times I bring this instead of other oracle decks. So I use this because it's very easy to read off the top, and I have programmed my deck to make it an exact match. Let's say for example that the querent or my client has a question about has a question, and the answer has something to do with forgiveness. Then that would and this card came out. Then that this card that came out would automatically be the most pressing matter, or the most pressing thing that needs to be done, or the most pressing thing that needs to be addressed. You know, it's very easy in that sense. And actually, this deck it does have layers, but it comes on later on. So for quick readings, this is a very good deck. It's a very gentle, precise, concise deck without being strong, without being too forceful, without really, like, this is what you need to do. It's not that kind of energy. It's a very soft deck, but it's an effective deck in that sense, for people who really need to hear it on a gentle level, who really need to hear messages that stick to them. This is a great deck. Okay, so yeah, that's my 2 cents worth on it, and it's becoming really, really dark. I hope you like this very quick episode. I'm just putting it back. I hope you like this very quick episode. If you like this episode, hit the thumbs up. If you would like to be notified of my new videos, please hit the subscribe button below. Excuse me. Please hit the subscribe button below. If you have any comments, suggestions, anything else that you want me to discuss, and definitely I will do more reviews of my other decks as time goes by. Please hit the comment section, or please write something in the comment section. And if you want your very own personalized private tarot reading or Reiki healing session with me, both face-to-face or online. If you live in Manila, we can work something out and do a face-to-face tarot reading or Reiki healing session. If you live abroad or you can't come to where I am, I also do online tarot readings, online intuitive tarot readings, and Reiki healing sessions. And I will leave my email down here below. Okay, so bye everyone. See you next time.